Thank you, Mr. Carl England.
Wow.
There's a little smooth jazz. I like that.
That's going to be our intro for life.
Gosh, I hope so.
Me too.
Well, this is the Better Half PDX, and I am with my better half, Caitlin.
Yes, and I'm with my better half, Mr. Kevin Smith.
So tonight we were thinking about what we wanted to speak about, and we decided... Sorry about that. We decided that we wanted to talk about the plague of perfection. We were down visiting my sister this past weekend down in Corvallis, and we were just talking about some stuff, and we thought that would be a good subject to talk about.
Yeah, the plague of perfectionism in our culture and our society.
Yeah. And
how it comes about and what it looks like, because I think everybody can relate.
Yeah, totally. So I think we have a couple different speaking points that we want to touch on.
What are we going to talk about? What are our points?
The points. We're going to talk about social media.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously. Body image. Mm-hmm. Work.
Yeah.
Marriage, family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah, that'll cover the big ones, right?
Gosh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I think we can easily talk about those for as much time as we need to talk.
Yeah, that sounds good. Whatever that time might be.
Yep.
So number one, we're talking about social media.
Social media.
Like Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Snapchat, Twitter.
I don't even know half of them.
Tweet.
There's probably some.
Kid Pop.
There's got to be some out there that I definitely don't know about.
Yeah, what about MySpace? Can we go back?
Yeah, that's where, well...
MySpace is where I still feel challenged about my life. So, I don't know about you guys out there, but MySpace.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, nobody uses that.
No one uses that anymore.
Facebook is
it's the kingpin.
The place, at least for the us. Because I feel like...
The present day.
Younger people are like Snapchat and Instagram and...
Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be some other little things, but, I mean, the Goliath in the room is kingpin, is Facebook.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is... just some, just statistics of it is worldwide there's 2.01 billion.
Whoa, that was loud.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's good though. Dramatic.
So there's 2 billion people actively using Facebook.
Wow.
When you think that there's only 6 billion people in the world, and of that,
so basically those other 4 billion people can't afford a phone.
A third of the world is using it, and I mean, and how many people don't have electricity, don't have, computers, don't have telephones.
Infrastructure for technology.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people. Yeah,
1.15 billion is mobile.
Wow. All on somebody's phone.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of obnoxious. I don't know if I can say it's obnoxious because I use it a ton. But, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it's just another one, and I don't even think that this is a statistic, but the highest, the demographic, most common age demographic is 25 to 34, which you fall into.
That's me.
I do not.
You don't.
I don't have to worry about that.
No, you don't.
But the one that I thought was a great sort of statistic that I think expands past that is that 50% of people aged 18 to 24 go to Facebook first thing when they wake up. It's the first thing they do.
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, and you look 24, but...
I do.
You're older.
Yeah, I look 24, absolutely. Maybe I could pass for 22, but I do sometimes look at my Facebook when I get up in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of nuts how it's sort of taken over our lives, in a sense, and, I mean, it's definitely... It's an addiction, social media.
It is an addiction, because all of us have been trained. When Facebook started, it was just for college students. It was basically a dating website. Let's just all be real. Facebook was just for college students. Your parents can get on it. Your little brother can get on it.
I don't know about dating, but yeah, it's a media platform. So it's like, hey, I'm going to this house party over at this other place on campus.
Everybody show up.
Meet up. Yeah.
They're going to be a kegger. Woo! Rage! And then, sophomore year, or sophomore, junior, of my college, I think, is when it started opening up. Because you used to have a college email account to be on there.
Yeah.
And now, not so true. Grandma's all about it. She's all up on that.
Yeah.
Facebook. But it's definitely taken a toll on how we view culture, our society, ourselves. Social media and just technology in general has brought all of this information to us so much faster than we used to have.
Yeah. I mean, us starting this topic, the plague of perfection, right, is Facebook, in my opinion, becomes this sort of platform in which it's the cliff notes of our lives, right?
Yeah.
So it's like we are going to post the best meal that we ate. Well, not everyone, but it's like you go out to a meal and it's like a really good dinner and people pull out their phones and take pictures. I've definitely fallen victim to that, and you go on vacation and you take all these pictures and you do all these fun events. You go out on a date night and you do this and that. And
yeah, it's usually like the fun parts of your life that you're posting.
Yeah, I mean, it is. But in that, there's a lot of people that see that and that fall to the idea that, man, their life is so good. They've got it. Like, their life is perfect. And
it's just a snapshot.
Yeah, because it is. It's just a snapshot. It's just a picture. It's just a posting of, where they are right now. It's not like the worst times of our life. Very, very rarely are we posting this is what I look like in the morning picture in the the mirror, where it's like, I'm a hot mess right now.
Right.
And like, I got dragon breath and, my wife, doesn't even want to kiss me goodbye and, all this sort of stuff, it's just like, yeah, I get it. Like, when we're in the position we're able to take vacations, it's great to take those vacations and show the pictures and everything like that.
Yeah, it's good to celebrate the good things.
Yeah, but I think also we need to share like everyday life stuff. You know what I mean? It's like our posts can't all be good.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we fall victim to that.
Or with the context that reality is not that everything is going amazing. And reality is not that you can do everything. That was one thing we were talking about with Rachel, is like, you can't be perfect. You can't be a perfect parent. You can't be a perfect family member. You can't be a perfect worker. Like, perfectionism is something that we strive for that is unattainable. You can't be perfect, no matter how hard you try or how much you've been trained to do so. And I think Facebook just exacerbates this cultural quote-unquote norm, perhaps, of striving for perfectionism. Social media is not encouraging us to deal with life and reality in all sense. I mean, there are people, right, that post really great articles about really what's going on in society today, and some challenging messages that people may get into conflict on over social media, or people even have posted real life events that have been hard. Like, I've had friends who post about having miscarriages or just going through a hard time in their family or things like that. But the rarity of the realness is very true. So we get blinded by trying to compete and compare rather than just being content with what we have. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. And I think the vulnerability and the people that have the courage to share those moments of their life where it's like, I lost this person in my life and that this has like crippled me, or I lost a child and how hard that must be. It's just like, because the relatability is out there. There's people that are like, I know exactly what you're going through. I'm like, I want to help you. I've been there. I've, experienced that. And, it's not just rainbows and puppy dogs, on with life.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about some practicals with social media, specifically in perfectionism.
Sure.
And I'm thinking about, basically, maybe there's ways that we as a society or culture can help with that. One, when you're out to dinner or you're out with people, put your phone away and don't take a million pictures of your food or a million pictures of your group. Or if you're going to go out, take one picture of the group, put your phone away, and enjoy the moment. Maybe
Yeah.
that's a good one. There's a good takeaway as far as trying to disconnect from your devices and your communication of every single aspect of your night, whereas the night is so much more enjoyable when you're in it and not videoing it.
Yeah, and also, I mean, bouncing off of that same idea is it doesn't have to be like a great experience or a great like sort of individual moment, but like do the everyday, right? It's like share, like take a picture of the meal that you prepared for your family and take a picture with your family, like eating that meal together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Versus like, oh, we went out to this fancy restaurant and we had a private chef that made this incredible meal and it looked incredible and this and that. It's like, hey, I made lasagna. It looked a hot mess, but it tasted fantastic.
That's really good.
Like,
you know,
I think I was talking with a woman who's like,
that.
I never take a picture of any food that I make. And I'm like, you need to change that. I was like,
Yeah.
take pictures of the food that you're making so that you can see how much you've improved over the last year.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I figured out this new dish and it took me a while, but like I figured this out. This is great. Or, I mean, most of the time too, is like, we always talk about comfort food, right?
Yeah.
And it's like comfort food isn't this like artistic, you know,
no, it's like mac and cheese.
yeah, where it's like, oh, they put this dollop of this, and then they take a paintbrush and smear, you know, this balsamic glaze and
Oh my
this and
gosh.
that.
And then I put a rose in my mac and cheese and made it beautiful.
I like it.
That's what I'm going to do. That's a good...
Just put
I like
edible
this.
flowers on it and
Yes.
and be like the
Just
shack.
practical number 2 of...
Just be like the shack at
Yeah.
the
That's
number
true.
1 restaurant in England.
Oh my gosh. We'll talk about that another day.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a good practical. I like that. Take pictures of the everyday.
Yeah.
There's a good, a girl I went to high school with that does that really well. And I'm, just for sake of context and time, I won't go into it, but she does a really good job of, she takes pictures of the meals she's making and then times with her family. And she also posts about difficult times, or when she's having a difficult time, she'll post and she'll ask a question to people of how they've dealt with it and get advice. She seeks advice, which is really cool on Facebook.
That's awesome.
And I admire that about her.
Asking for resources.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, love
So
it.
that's a good one. So 2 practicals,
Yeah.
right? Try to minimalize your usage and your uploadingness
Yeah.
when you're out and about with people and embrace the moment. And 2, take pictures of real stuff. Don't take pictures of the fancy stuff you pay lots of money for. Take pictures of the reality of your life. And
Yeah.
people really enjoy that.
Yeah.
I enjoy that.
Yeah. Yeah. Put
Makes
those
me feel like
phones
I'm
away.
a part of your family when you guys do that. So that's very cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
157 times a day is how often they check. The average person checks their phone.
Wow.
157 times.
Wow. That's crazy.
As I look down at my phone.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Obviously.
But-
What's the next one, babe? What
Body
are we
image.
looking at? Oh, body image. What are you thinking about this one?
Well, you know, I mean, today I did orange therapy with my sister.
No. It's Orange Theory.
Well, it's therapy. Okay. All right, pumpkin.
For you, it's therapy. Okay.
Yeah,
Amen.
it's good.
Love
Man, I will tell you what, my sister is a beast.
Yeah, she is.
She like, I mean, she's been doing this for like a year now, and so she's like in this groove, and she's got all the like routines sort of change up, you know, each time and everything. But it's just like a circuit training gym, and man, it is intense. And we were just talking about it when people were checking in. They're getting ready to do their transformation pictures, right? They're starting this new. Where they take pictures of you before you start
Yeah.
working out there, and then I don't know how long they do it.
Maybe like 6
Probably-
months a year or something.
Yeah, I don't know. They probably do like quarterly pictures of you, and then
Yeah.
being like, "How's your transformation going?" sort of thing. And they said that people were joking. They made people start taking off their shoes because people were weighing down their shoes so that their starting weight would be heavier, so it would make them look better.
Stop
That
it.
they lost more weight when they were actually weighed at their transformation picture at the end.
Wow, this is perfection. Why would you do that?
That is so ridiculous.
Just a competitive.
I was so encouraged that I was talking to my sister about when we were there. I was like, man, I want to lose like 20 pounds before we run this half marathon, just so that I don't have so much weight banging on my knees and ankles, you know, for
yeah.
that 21 kilometers. And and she's like, I haven't looked at a scale. I haven't been on a scale in 4 years. And I'm like, amen. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I love it. She's like, I feel better. She looks better. I mean, she's just really doing it. And yeah, I think, body image and how we sort of view ourselves is like
right.
crazy.
Yeah, the perfectionism of that aspect to me is definitely, you can go a couple different ways with it. Culturally, you see models and actors, those individuals who are presented in social media or on TV, in magazines, and you see certain body images.
Yeah.
Be thin, be beautiful, be in whatever beauty means to you, because beauty is interpreted. Thin is also interpreted in my mind.
Sure.
And so we've kind of been brought up in a culture where health or just being healthy isn't always what is strived for. It's more of, I want to look like that person.
Right.
And that person is my goal. That's perfectionism to me, and I need to do anything I can to get there. Even if it's unhealthy, that's what I need to do.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfair because there's people like me who don't work out that well and have a perfect dad bod.
It's true.
So,
you have the best dad bod.
I don't even have kids and I have such a good dad bod.
He doesn't. I mean, we only discuss having children on days when he discusses how awesome his dad bod is.
It's true.
Like, if you're going to have a dad bod, then we should have babies to put on your dad bod.
Yeah. Give me some nachos. I'm with the kids today. You know?
He is pretty sexy in his dad bod. I love it.
I'm going to be rocking it for a while.
It's pretty awesome.
But yeah, and I mean, with perfectionism, I mean, even with you, I mean, you're not perfect, but you're close enough that it counts, So I wonder how people
9.5.
Yeah, I mean, at least 9.5. But at least I think too. Sometimes it's great to like accept and be like, man, yeah, I wish. The reality is, I wish I had a body that looked like, fill in the blank or whatever. I think we all strive, maybe not even strive, because a lot of us don't put in the work. I mean, my sister's been putting in the work. I mean, she goes to Orange Therapy all the time, and I know it's the
Stop it, babe.
theory.
It's theory.
I know, but it's like therapy for her. She's so much better now.
And for you, obviously.
It was
You're
great
committed
for me.
to it.
It was
committed.
Good. Yeah,
Rachel, now you've given him an addiction. That's a good one.
I burned 886 calories this morning.
It's true. When he came back, I was like, "Oh, what are we gonna eat?
Yeah.
Burned 880. Now what can we eat for today?"
Yeah, but
Sorry,
I think not getting wrapped up in that, like, sort of that body image sort of circle that we can, being like, man, because it can turn to like horrible places, because it'll never, like, enough is never enough. You'll never be like the view of what perfection is will keep moving. That bar will never stand still. You'll never look you'll never look at yourself and be like, this is perfect. Like I've reached it, right? It's like you're going to come up with eating disorders. You're going to come up with like, physical
plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery. I mean, talk about plastic surgery. Hello, transition.
I know. I mean, when I think of perfectionism, that's one thing I think of, because when people, one, aren't willing to put in the work, or two, they just want something completely different than what they have. Yeah. Plastic surgery, right? What's going on over there? Statistics?
Yeah. Stats. Coming in, stats, right, hot off the press.
Where are they from?
They are from USA Today.
Thank you, USA.
Yeah. USA Today says that an American Society of Plastic Surgery reported Americans spent more than $16 billion in cosmetic surgeries and minimal invasive surgeries in 2016.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And you wonder, I mean, I know that some plastic surgeries are out of, people will get into accidents or something's going on with their health. But really to know a statistic as far as like doing it out of a want and not a need, you know what I mean?
Over $1 billion were done just on those jobs.
Okay, well there's a good one. Some of those may have been from accidents, but the majority probably were
possibly.
Not. So I just think about, that's a part of the perfectionism when you're thinking of body image. And I think of a takeaway though of it's really a mindset.
Yeah.
When you think about body image, because for me, I always, when I was in high school or in college, you see other girls who have very different body types than I do. I am not well given in some areas of my body that I wish that I was. And so I would always do this comparison thing, looking at other people of what I want. And now, one, I have an amazing husband that makes me feel very secure in what I have, which is great. And
that
two,
helps.
yeah, it's very helpful. And two, my ultimate goal now is that I work out to relieve my stress for my mental health. And two, I'm not striving to... I haven't been on a scale in a long time either. I don't know how much I weigh right now, but I'm seeing the transformation myself, and I just want to feel healthy.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to feel good.
I think society's sort of pushing towards that. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like...
I think so too.
you
It's
sort of
moving.
See, the pendulum's swinging in
Yeah.
the right direction as far as, body image and health versus, the reality. So,
Yeah, I just want to feel good. And I think that more and more people are going that route. There are still people that it's hard. But as a practical, I think one practical to give to the listeners is to really think about just how do you feel? Like just feeling healthy. Maybe sitting down and reflecting on what makes me feel healthy. And the comparisons are not going to help you.
No.
Comparing ourselves to other people, we become our own worst enemy. But really sitting down and there's so much help, right? Like you can go to a personal trainer, you can go to a nutritionist, you can go to somebody to talk about how you feel about the way you look, talk to a good friend. But at the end of the day, I think for me, a number one practical would be to just, what can I do to be healthy? Not thinner, not whatever, toner, not blah, 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 whatever, fill in the blank. But just to be healthy and to live longer,
Yeah.
for your health. So that like your heart doesn't fall apart or your liver doesn't die. What can I do for that?
Yeah. And I think an accountability partner with that, right? I mean, Caitlin's got a great coworker that she runs with and works out with on a regular basis. And it's not like a competitive, it's just like, hey, how can we help one another to achieve these sort of goals that we're working towards? You know what I mean? It's like I want to be able to, for running, I want to run a little bit quicker, a little bit longer. It's not like it isn't wrapped up in the, I want to look great in a bathing suit, which you do.
Oh, thanks, Graham.
And I'm going to see more of that next week.
Yeah, in Mexico, it's going to be great.
Hello,
Hello.
Mexico.
But what's a practical that you can think of? Can you think of a practical to give the listeners that they can do or something they can read about when it comes to body image and perfectionism?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's finding, we tend to go towards what what we surround ourselves is sort of what we turn into.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think it's finding someone that is comfortable with their body image and having those conversations, maybe, and finding someone that is like fit and asking their opinion, being like, do you just have really good genes or do you put in the work? I know it's different for everyone, but how do you, do you feel healthy? You know what I mean? It's like having those conversations with people, and you're going to eventually find someone that is completely open and honest about it, being like, no, it kind of sucks waking up every morning and going for a run, and putting in the work is just it really is, it is that it's work. You have to it just doesn't happen. I mean, we can look at the number one cosmetic surgery is liposuction.
Yeah.
Right. So the top three are nose jobs, breast and augmentations or enhancements, and liposuction.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's just like crazy. It's just like I want something different,
and I want it now.
And I want it now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't
so
want
it's
to
like
maybe put in the
it's
work
like
for it.
I don't have and I'm not saying that all breast surgeries are negative.
No,
My sister had one.
Yeah.
My eldest sister had one.
For your back.
It was for her back. And and she, after she had that, it was just amazing. I mean, she is, incredible. She, started running. She's healthier. I feel like she's healthier than she ever was when...
Yeah, it's hard. I have a friend like that, too, that's been trying to do that because it could go either way. The breast reduction, because it's just painful on people. Like, some people don't even think or stop to realize that there are parts of our body that are painful, even though you may look at them differently. Yeah. And then also, women who have had breast cancer and have had to have the mastectomy. What is it? Mastectomy?
Yeah, mastectomy.
A mastectomy, right? And perhaps they choose for, their own self to have that rebuilt, have that part of their body rebuilt so that they don't have perhaps the insecurity that other women maybe wouldn't.
Yeah. But
that they don't have that piece of them gone. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things anyways, but I like your practical of finding somebody that's safe you can talk to about how you're feeling about your body.
Yeah.
And how to...
And like anything else, talk with a professional,
Yeah.
It's like
That's what trainers are there for.
Personal trainers love to have those conversations.
They absolutely do.
And be like, I mean...
They go to school for that.
Yeah. And you can probably even just be like, hey, I'm probably not going to buy a big package, but I just of training sessions, but I at least want to have the conversation to see if this is something that would be beneficial to me. And they're going to try to sell you on, getting, doing an assessment and stuff like that. A lot of trainers are, before you even get a, set up for personal training, they have to do an assessment to at least let you know where you're at, right? And then you're like, oh, I'm really not as healthy as I thought I was, or, I'm actually not as bad as I thought I was. I mean, either way, they give you the starting point and be like, hey, this is where we're at. What are we trying to work towards?
Yeah.
Are you trying to just be healthy so that you can live a longer life with your family?
Right.
Are you trying to get in shape for a role? Are you on TV or this or that, or there's anything. But talk with those professionals and be like, hey, this is what I see and this is what I'm hoping for, and how can I best get there without getting into the rat race of trying to do whatever is possible, whatever is necessary to get to that goal.
Right.
Just set realistic goals.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
And find someone that sees you for you, and the body image stuff, it's just a bonus on it.
Yeah.
I think that's true. That's important.
That is true. What's another one that we're going to talk about? So, social media, body image.
Work.
Being
work. Jeez Louise.
What? I mean, everybody, whatever. If you don't know what that song is, it's fine. So, being a perfectionist in your work environment.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to that one. Just the continuous onslaught of tasks over and over, and wanting everything to be perfect. Wanting to be able to write a report and nothing be wrong with it, or wanting to be able to do a project and not have any roadblocks, and wanting to be seen as somebody that's amazing that the company can't live without.
Yeah, I see it as, in my own life, at least at my workplaces, that I have this prideful sense of, I know better than you. For someone that might not be there as long as I have, and I'm not that I think that I'm perfect, because I know I'm far from, but it's well, at least, I've been here long. I've been here for 5 more years than you. Don't tell me how to do that, one thing, or, you know what I mean? It's man, I need to change my heart around how I view my work and how I act in my workplace. And I'm not climbing the corporate ladder, by any means, where I'm at. And, I'm just sort of possibly even on cruise control of where I'm at. And, that maybe there's something that I need to do to change that, in my workplace and my attitude and my heart, job, role, title, all those things. Just so that, but yeah, I see people that are going after trying to be perfect at work, trying to
they can't take any
appease the the higher manager up, and it's they're trying to climb it and be the absolute best instead of being the best for their position, for their company.
Yeah,
it's they're striving in this endless thing to being like, oh, I want this manager to like me, and I'm going to do the best thing, and then once I get,
and who cares about the guys beneath me?
right, and
who cares about who I have to step on?
Yeah, I mean, there is that. Yeah, it's sad, but I guess that's reality. I don't know. I mean,
know. I'm trying to think of, like, outside of our world, what does perfectionism look like at work? I can think of maybe working longer hours when you don't have to.
not asking for help because.
Right, not asking for help. I'm really bad at that, actually. Not asking for help at work. Wanting to be a perfectionist at work. Always raising your hand to do stuff that the boss wants you to.
Yeah, we got a lot of yes men, like, out there.
Yeah, always. Not even being good at taking constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Because I think constructive criticism is essential for us to grow. And if you're a perfectionist and you're being challenged on who you are and where you're at, I can see that as challenging our quote-unquote perfectionism in our workplace.
For sure.
Being told that there are things we need to change and grow in, even though that should be a part of our growth. But if you're a perfectionist, you could be very hurt by that or very upset, get very angry when somebody tells you you're not doing something well.
Yeah.
Or to your full potential.
Yeah. I don't know about that. That's great. I mean, you're right.
I think that those are all the things. And work is...
Yeah, I mean, people that are putting in, like everyone always talks about work-life balance, right? And
yeah.
I think there's, my wife works at Intel, and someone once told her, who had been there for over 30 years, he said there is no such thing as work-life balance. There's work-life efficiency. And it's not, there will never be a balance.
There will always be more work than we have enough life to give them.
Yeah, exactly. And without, like, healthy boundaries, like, work will always take as much as they can.
Yeah.
Before you, like, start saying no and setting boundaries in place so that you're not, falling victim to, signing up for everything or being expected to do all these different things. And striving to be the perfect employee.
Yes.
Or, I think you're going to thrive in what you put your time and passion into. And so I think you have to balance it at some point, because the best employee is not that good of an employee if they don't have a good home life.
No,
you know what I mean?
They're
It's going to bleed.
miserable.
It's going to bleed into their work life, right? It's like, yes, we spend 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours, at work a day, and so a lot of times we're spending more time with our coworkers than with our family members.
It's true,
right? And if we don't take that time to really enjoy, embrace, and have the time with our family, and use that time effectively, then our work life is going to suffer, because we're going to be worried about, we're going to be worried about the strife that we have at home with our spouses, the problems that we're having with our kids, you know what I mean? And it's like, you're going to spend a couple hours a day talking with coworkers about, man, my kid is just crazy right now. He's just going off the wall. He's a teenager. He's getting into drugs. He's doing this and doing that. And
that doesn't sound like we're worried about perfectionism, which is good. But it can handle your perfectionism. It can affect your perfectionism.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I went off on a tangent. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I was trying to relate it back.
I'm not perfect, okay? I'm sorry.
Well, you need to get it together.
Well, I'm
because
sorry.
this podcast needs to be perfect.
All right, moving on to something I am perfect at, marriage.
Well, we should give practicals for work, though.
Okay.
We should think out loud to each other of what would be good practicals for those who suffer of perfectionism in the workplace.
Ask for help.
That's good. Number 1, ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask for help from your coworkers. Ask for help from your bosses. Get a mentor that you can ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What else can we think of? I mean, it's a big one.
That sort of covers a lot of ground there.
It does. And maybe the number 2 I can put out there is know the expectations of your job, because your boss could tell you these are the expectations, and you could still try to go above and beyond, thinking that it's going to get you more money or get you somewhere else or whatever that you have on in your mind, but really it doesn't matter how much more time you spend or how much more you do, as long as those expectations are met that your boss is expecting, right? So having those good conversations with your boss too.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. So, okay, I'm sorry. Let us go on to the topic that you are the best at, actually.
Well, yeah, marriage. I've done
Duh.
it. I've done it for 5
Been
years.
there, done that.
Five. If you can't.
What's the next thing in your life, Mr. Smith?
Wow.
Now that you have completed marriage,
Okay.
please tell me. What's the next big thing?
No, I think I mean marriage because, we see. I mean, I've seen, and this sort of touches on Facebook. Sometimes you'll see people, and their Facebook sort of presents their relationships as being perfect, as being so great. It's like, man, if I just look at Facebook and I see the pictures with their spouses, with their families, like how they're interacting, you're like, man, this is great. They went on this fun trip. They're all smiling, this and that, right? And too often we know that there is strife, there is conflict, and what we see sometimes, what we, and not just on social media, what we see in our church, what we see like with our friends, it's like, until you can have those really good relationships, like some people's lives look perfect and they do a really good job of putting on this face of perfection in their relationship, when the reality is their relationship is crumbling.
Yes.
I think that's a really hard thing to sort of face at times.
Yes, how the plague of perfectionism can plague your marriage.
Yeah.
Trying to compete, I think at the root, one of the biggest roots of all of these is just a comparison factor.
Yeah.
And also a shame and guilt factor. If something's going on in your marriage and it's difficult to talk about, maybe there's some sort of addiction, or there's just conflict that you just don't know how to resolve, and you've decided to just sit in the conflict instead of reach out and get help to mediate the conflict. There's so many things in our culture where people are not brought up or taught really constructive tools in order to communicate with one another in their marriage. And then people are embarrassed or ashamed or have a guilt of asking or getting open because they're afraid of what people will think about them. So they do put on that mask, or they do put on this facade that everything is okay. And the sad part of that is the longer somebody sits in a marriage that may be affected by these other things, external factors, internal factors, and doesn't get help, or even doesn't feel like they have a friend that they're close enough to talk to about it, which also makes me sad, because that means people are out there feeling even more lonely, right?
Yeah. I mean, you totally isolate. I mean, if you're in a marriage and you don't feel like you can go to anyone else, and you can't talk to your spouse about those problems like that you're having because you have a sense that it's going to lead to more conflict, it is a daunting place to enter, and I think the most important thing is finding another couple that you can be open and vulnerable with and be like, this is where we're at.
Yes.
We're a hot mess right now.
Yes.
We want to get better, but like we are just stuck. We don't get time with one another, and whether that be like, time of intimacy and intimacy outside of, sexual conduct, but, just like, we haven't gone out on a date night. We barely, hug and kiss each other anymore, all those things. But, from the outside, you go, when they're in public, they're holding hands, and then they get in the car and it's like, get away from me, I don't want to talk to you right now. It's just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think that's number one practical for your perfectionism in your marriage, is to have one or two couples that really know all of you and that you're willing and vulnerable and feel safe talking to you about, no matter what that will be. Because if people, I don't know what our marriage would be like if we didn't let people into our marriage. If we didn't let our friends or other married couples just know the reality of our day-to-day.
Yeah.
I think that it would be difficult.
It wouldn't be half as good as it is.
Right.
I mean, it is really good, and it's good because of people like the
Giving
Bartons.
Yes.
you know.
Even like, you know, our friends like Vivian and like people that
single people that just like,
that aren't married but just see things in our character.
I mean, probably one of the most encouraging things that I've had all year said about me or about us was said by like 2 single campus kids, you know, that came up to Caitlin, and they're like, goals, like the Smith are goals, and we're like, what? And they're
what
like,
does that mean?
What does that mean? And she's like, you guys just have fun and you love one another, and it's like, that's what we want. We want
your life is our goal.
Your life is our goal.
Your life is our goal.
Which I totally want to make into a t-shirt. My life is your goal.
I know.
Or should be your goal.
But I feel like then we would just take it to another level that wouldn't be as cute as them just telling us.
Yeah,
it was cute when she told me.
I would need to make that and then a shirt that followed up by saying, I'm the best at being humble.
Oh my gosh, stop it. Stop it. No, it is encouraging that. But perfectionism in marriages can really... It's definitely more of a hindrance than a help. You know, putting on the mask, putting on the facade.
It's tiring.
Even with your family, even with if you have kids, like putting on the mask, the facade that your kids are doing all these things or whatever.
Have to do all these things. You know,
yeah,
the amount of
your kids have to be in 30 activities. I don't even remember. My mom could handle 1 for each kid.
1 sport, 1 season. That's it.
And why do kids have to do multiple things? I feel exhausted thinking about it.
I don't know.
I don't even want to do that.
I mean, it keeps them busy, and I mean, and
it's true.
If
so
they,
like, I don't want to spend it down with my kid. I'm going to put them in a bunch of crap.
Yeah, if they really enjoy it, I mean,
it's true. That's also true. I shouldn't say that. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's a case to case like sort of
basis.
Thing.
Every kid's different.
But I mean, I think too is there's a lot of parents out there that it's like keeping their kids busy like gives them purpose. It's like, well, I got to do this, and then I got to do this, and then I got to do this, and
it's almost like you start to idolize your children.
Driving around this practice, and it's like, man, I love seeing couples like the Terrells that it's like, hey, you kids are along for the ride. Like we're married,
cute. They're cute.
We're married, and our kids they're coming with us.
Yeah, there's a couple that we go to church with and we hang out with maybe twice a year. But when we see them from afar, we appreciate their parenting style and just the way that they are as people, anyways.
The Mullins are like that too.
Yeah, it's like also another couple
that we know that it's like. They are, like, the kids are along for the ride, and they're going to show them their lives.
That's the type of parents that I would want to be.
And it's like, hey, we're going to let you do, you know, an activity and stuff like that, but that's part of, like, our lives.
Yeah. The Bartons do that, too. I mean, we have a lot of friends that do that, but, you know, the Trells, the Mullins, and the Bartons are the ones that will just pop in, because we...
spend time with them.
Have talked about them. Well, the Mullins and Trells, we don't really spend a lot of time, but we just talk about them. And the Bartons we spend time with, so... Yeah. But anyway, these are all just friends that we go to church with that have kids and have made parenting look attractive to us, and even in the way they treat their children, and balance their lives. And but I think that marriage and creeping into kids a little bit. I mean, we don't have kids, so we can't relate to you guys that have kids. We can just observe from the exterior of what your life looks like, but having some practicals to ensure that perfectionism doesn't plague your marriage. You know, you don't get that perfectionism plaguing your marriage is what Kevin said earlier. Really having really having a good another couple or good friends you can just both be open with and honest with. That's something that, to me, I never really saw or thought about until, honestly, for me, I didn't really think about it until I became a Christian and really learned this concept of getting mentored or getting help and advice in the different areas of my life. I really didn't think about it.
No. And
now that I have really tried to put that into practice in my life and in my marriage, I just don't understand how people live without it. I don't understand how people make it or get through the hard times all by themselves and with nobody else. I don't believe that everybody does that. I think there are people out there that definitely get help and definitely have great friends they can bring into situations. I didn't see it a lot.
Right.
Growing up, I didn't see a lot of positive conflict resolution or bringing in another couple to help, or I didn't see that example. And so doing it and seeing it now in my marriage and our friend's marriage, I see the huge benefits. And that's me. Is there any other practicals? I mean, I think that's a really big one, but is there another practical that you can think of that we should give when it comes to marriage?
Being perfect in marriage?
No, like, not being perfect.
Oh, shit.
No, I know.
I had some good practicals.
You get so confused.
I had some good practicals for being perfect in marriage.
Number 1, get a red box with your spouse. Number 2, watching on the couch before the end of the weekend. There's so many good things. I don't know, but is there anything else? I think that's the biggest one for me. And you brought it up, actually. Yeah. So I didn't even think of one.
No, yeah, I mean, just
I'm sorry.
Being vulnerable, being open, and being grateful. I mean, that's the big thing, is like being grateful for where you're at. Like the good things, like seeing the good in your spouse, seeing the good in your kids without like putting it on a pedestal. Is like, I love Caitlin to death. But
yeah.
But
like, I love you too. I love you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But our lives are more than our spouse, and we don't have kids now. But even if we have kids, I would hope that our lives would be more than our kids. You know what I mean? It's like having that outlet. I think that's an important thing. Is you know, having something else, right? It's like Caitlin has, you know, usually one night a week she spends some time with some ladies. You know, whether they be single or married or, you know, whatever. But just
get out with somebody.
Yeah, just girls' night, you know, just go hang out and stuff like that. And I need either that same thing with, like, a guy, or I need just some solo time, you know, in the garage or doing a project or something like that, you know, just for my sanity. And it's like, I love, you know, my spouse, but I also have other things. My spouse doesn't, like, I don't idolize Caitlin, you know, and it doesn't mean at points of our relationship I didn't, because I sure did, but I've realized that that's not beneficial to our relationship. You know, that is only something that, you know, that codependency is just something that would only affect us negatively. It's not going to, like, help us, where it's like, I rely on her for everything. Like,
that's just overwhelming, you saying it, and in that voice, and if you saw his face, it was really intense. All of the above.
I'm so intense when I talk about my marriage.
He is. You're so down crazy. I don't know what I was trying to say. Anyways, continue. I like this point you're making.
Oh my gosh, I don't know now.
It's fine. I can summarize it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
number 2, don't idolize your spouse.
Yeah, I mean, and just be vulnerable with others.
Yeah.
About where you're at. Being, you know.
That's really good. I like all those practicals. I think that, yeah, so perfectionism.
Forget the facade.
Yeah.
You know, get rid of it.
As an
because
overall
you're just,
whole.
it's going to, like, tire you out. You're going to be like, this stinks. And I mean, I can only speak to that because I don't hide anything in my marriage now, but like times in the past with like addictions that I had, you know, where I held them, and it's like, it's tiring to like keep stuff.
It's hard to keep up.
Right? And so it's like, if you're trying to keep up, if you're trying to keep like the reality of what your marriage looks like to society, like, so anytime you're in public, you're keeping that, and you're trying to be this perfect couple, and you're trying to like do up your house so when people come they can love your house, and when you go out you look good, and you have this car, and you spend all this money and stuff like that you don't have. It's like, that is going to tire you out. Eventually you're gonna like give up on it. You're gonna be like, I can't do this anymore. This is like, I'm over it.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, at some point, maybe, I don't know, but I've never.
Some people may just do it till I die. I don't know. That's okay.
Gosh, I hope not.
But I think just in summary, like the overall idea of perfectionism being a plague. These are some areas we've thought about, but
yeah,
the overall idea of it is, 1, very real, welcome, reality.
Yeah.
And 2 is definitely compatible. Like, you can fight the cultural norms of perfectionism. You can put tools and items in your life that will help you maintain sanity.
Sure.
And sometimes I think about those people that take all those pictures and do all these things. Maybe they're just really lonely.
For sure, they gotta be.
Lonely,
they gotta be.
And they're hoping for attention. You know, they're seeking attention because they're really lonely and they don't know
It's
what
'cause
real
they're not-
relationships are like.
Yeah, they're not happy with themselves, you know, and
Or
that's the
where
thing
they're
is
at,
like
yeah.
accepting where you're at and, you know, getting help for like, I think there's got to be some of that is like, you know, I think everyone should go to therapy for something or other.
Oh, man.
You know what I mean? So it's like accepting where you're at, but
Should they go to orange therapy?
they should go to orange therapy.
For this?
I mean, it's a good, I mean, at least for the physicality aspect
Oh,
of
okay.
it, like body image.
I'm just
I mean,
wondering.
orange therapy is
Mhm.
definitely the place to go.
Yes.
We're not sponsored by Orange Therapy yet, but
We're not, but if they want to sponsor us, we will take
That's definitely
that.
a plug. I can plug just because I have experienced it.
I have too.
Corvallis. I will plug two things right now. Corvallis. If you're in Corvallis, I want you to look up two things. Orange Therapy, which is better known as Orange Theory. Okay.
Only known as Orange
I
Theory.
want to say the owner's name is Sean, but I could be wrong. If you ever listen to this, Sean or / owner, who could be Australian or English or of some accent, you're a wonderful guy, and you run a really good ship down there, buddy.
Yes.
And I like it. Second plug, unsponsored, but I also got to plug it. My sister, her small business that she runs is the Corvallis Carrot.
Corvallis Carrot.
So if you're in Corvallis, search Corvallis Carrot.
Get some healthy
I know
meals.
there's some people throughout the United States and wherever you live that might have heard of a company called Blue Apron, backed by, you know, big money and stuff like
Millionaires.
that. But
If you have $1 million, you should give it to Rachel Terry
Yep.
for Corvallis Carrot.
Yep, she'll probably just buy a house with it and then put a little bit into her business. But anyway, she wants to get a house with like a big plot of land so that she can build up this organic farming, like what she does at her home. She does like sort of an urban farm and does a lot of organic stuff.
Yes.
But she does prepared meals, like all organic and just like incredible stuff. I'm just saying, look up Corvallis Carrot. Look at just some of the pictures of what she does. And, I mean,
Delicious.
she's a little
she
bit
sat at home with a vegan cake today.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, it's good.
We plugged the Corvallis stuff. Now let's talk about vegan cake.
Yep.
Because I said, you know what?
Yeah.
Vegan stuff tasting good? I don't know. We had this conversation.
Yeah.
She said, no, Kaylin. I have created the best vegan chocolate cake. Well, she got the recipe off of a website. I can't remember what she called it.
It's like the simple
Simple
recipe.
Now I'm going to have to message her and ask
It
because
doesn't matter.
I need to tell my mom.
Anyway.
But it's really good.
So good.
It's really good. And
I kind of hate that it's good.
me too, because we're going to eat it all.
Jeez.
So,
Be like,
It
hey,
is
friends
good.
that are vegan, I know that you're vegan and all, but let
I'm
me
going
just...
to eat all your crap.
I ate this cake my sister sent home with me, and it was really good. You should totally try to make this the same way,
I know.
and you won't be able to.
She's so talented. She can fake my brain into thinking that vegan chocolate cake is delicious. That's how talented she is.
I know.
I mean, that's amazing. She must have hypnotized me on my way into the kitchen when I was trying it. She like fed me. I'm like, wow, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, vegan. That's funny.
Yeah,
We should have my mom on to talk about being a vegan.
Yeah.
My mom's a vegan now.
Yeah. So next time Lori is out here in Portland, Oregon, we're gonna do a.
Yeah, she swears she's made the best sour cream, vegan sour cream.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I don't either. Not yet. Not yet.
If my sister said that, I'd be like, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, but my brother and my sister said that it tasted
It's like legit.
amazing, and
Is it made out of cashews? What's it made out of?
I think so. Something like that, or cauliflower. I can't remember.
Cauliflower?
Something weird. But if my brother would be like, oh, he's kind of how
Flaxseed milk
he's
left
eating.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe? I don't know.
But Nadia even said it, and I was like, what? This could have hope.
Yeah, I'll give it a go.
Next time we're at my parents', we should have my mom make this
Yeah.
fake sour cream.
I probably need to eat a little bit better so I can get that perfect body.
Yeah.
No!
Oh,
Jeez Louise. I
That was a test?
totally
You're
just tricked
testing
my
me?
wife into thinking that she's going to get the perfect body out of me. And
perfectionism 101 got me.
Yep.
You got me with that perfectionism.
Anyway,
Yeah,
guys.
I know. We're done, right?
Yeah, we love you guys.
We
and
do. We love you. You
don't-
and you and you and you.
You and you and you. But we're saying this time, don't be perfect. Be the better half. Be better wherever you're at. Love you.
Love you guys.